And you know what? One of my other favorite authors, his name is Dr. Joe Vitale. He wrote a book called Spiritual Marketing. He's written a whole bunch of other books. But he talks about when it comes to a goal, there's no limitations. The only limitations that there are the ones that you put on yourself. You want them to be realistic. I mean, if you're making $10 an hour and you say you would like to have $300,000 in the bank by the end of the year, that might be a little big. But that doesn't mean that you can't dream it. It doesn't mean that you can't ever have it. But you also have to be realistic sometimes. So he says, order up whatever it is that you want. In terms of my patients in the office, I'll say, look, you can have anything. You came in here because your back hurts. But what do you really want? Do you want to be able to play with your children? Because people say, I can't get on the floor and play with my kids. I'm like, well, do you want to? They're like, yeah. I'm like, write it down. If that's something that you need to work towards. It doesn't really make a difference what it is. And that's what's so great, because you can apply whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whether it's family goals, whether it's business goals, whether it's you want to create a new relationship. If you can see it, you can have it. If you can't see it, then it makes it a little bit more difficult. Before I have you write down your goals, I'm going to tell you a quick story how I use this visualization. I've read about this for a long time, and when I decided to go to chiropractic school, I was kind of lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do. To make a long story short, I decided that I was going to go. Meanwhile, in high school, I failed chemistry. I stayed so far away from science that it was just very ironic that I was going to chiropractic school. They were going to call me doctor at some point. I was going to have to take all these classes that I was so afraid of. But I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to be a chiropractor. So like a laser beam focused precision, I got exactly what I wanted. Not only did I get what I wanted, I passed all my boards, I passed them early. I graduated from chiropractic school. I said I wanted to graduate with my license in hand. Everything done. I graduated my license in hand, visualized where I wanted to live. I ended up here with a practice. And if I can, listen, I'm telling you, I go back, I went to my 20th reunion, and they go, I just can't believe you're a doctor. Like, it freaks me out, because I was, I wasn't like a misfit in high school, but, it's just kind of ironic. So what I want you to do is I want to take your cards. I want you to do three things. I want you to figure out what do you want. It could be, it could be a fitness goal. Hey, I'd like to run a mile without collapsing after. I would like to be able to go up the stairs without being winded. I'd like to get on the floor and play with my grandchildren. It doesn't matter what it is. Write down what you want, when you want it by, and then if there's time, write down why do you want it. I think that's the most important question out of all of them. Why on earth do you want this goal? Like, who cares? Obviously, there has to be a reason, so think about why you want it. If it's $1 million, why do you want $1 million? If it's why do you want it? And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, because Paul's going to come up, and he's going to talk about how to take that goal and kind of move forward with it. And I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's going to talk about how to measure what it is that you visualize, what it is that you came up with. And I hope this is helpful. This has been really helpful to me. If anybody has any questions after, I'd be happy to tell you some of the other books that I've read on visualization and some of the other techniques that we teach in the office. So thank you for coming out. I appreciate all of you. And next up is my good friend Paul Dziewisz, who I've known for a handful of years. He's a dynamic speaker and individual, and he's just a really good motivator. So why don't you come on up?
I haven't said anything yet, so please hold it for us. It may not be working. Tim, you had something?
Yeah, I just want to say, we gave you 2 cards because the second card, we want you to write just what your goal is on it. So you're going to write on the first card the 3 things Roger talked about, and then on the extra card, just write your goal. That's it, just that one thing, your goal. Because we're actually gonna collect those cards, and we're gonna randomly pick some and work on them with someone on stage. So if we call your goal and you don't want to come up, then it's okay, you don't have to come up, but you may come up if you'd like. So take another minute to fill out your cards.
Yeah, can you repeat it?
Roger, can you repeat the 3 things?
What you want, like your goal, when you want it by, so if you want it in a week, if you want it next year, a month, and why do you want it? And that's more for you, that's not actually for what you want to do, but in terms of the goals, why do you want to accomplish the goal in the first place?
So you put 2 on the one column and then on the other.
Yeah, just to write down the actual goal.
So on the second card, you're just going to write down the goal you want, and we're going to randomly pick one of you.
You're going to get my card.
Just so that doesn't influence what you have on the card, you will not be forced.
Yes.
As people start scratching out all of these personal goals.
All right, take another 15 seconds.
We need a name.
Ready, sir? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tim, for inviting me to talk tonight. Happy birthday, obviously, to you. This is an interesting event because we're pulling together three people who do very, very different things. We have an eBay store owner and a motivator, and we have a chiropractor, we have a personal trainer, and but we're talking about how to generate momentum in fulfilling what you want from your life. So none of us are really talking about our day-to-day activities, but at the same time, we're talking about our day-to-day activities because in all three of our disciplines, we have to help somebody define a goal. We have to figure out where they are now, and we have to figure out how to get them from one spot to the other. Chiropractic, personal training, banker, financer, construction worker. You got something that you need to get done every single day, and you're at a certain point right now. How do you bridge the gap? And sometimes that's an easy question, and sometimes it's really hard. So I'm going to talk about how I do that in the fitness world. I'm going to try to generalize it. You've now written goals on your paper. You've got something in your head that you're trying to achieve. I'm going to use some examples from my profession from the fitness area, but I want you to reflect on how these examples can easily be transferred to what you're trying to accomplish. So that's what my message is going to be for the next few minutes. So I have this continuum that I work in all the time. And in that, just picture in that corner of the room, the least motivated, most lethargic person you have ever met. They simply don't move. Scott, I really am not referring to you. I see the smile on your face. I see the smile on your face, but this is anonymous. So Scott's sitting over there, and he doesn't move. He watches TV all day, he clicks the remote once in a while, and he yells for somebody to bring him food when he wants food. Okay? And then I want you to picture at the other end of the room, Serena Williams, Bill Gates, or more currently, Mark Zuckerberg, an overachiever in their industry, Roy Halladay, for all of us Philly fans. Somebody who has taken that out of their lives and taken steps in this direction to the point where they're at almost perfection in their industry. As good as you can get. Okay. So I'm going to hope that nobody in here is the person sitting in that corner. You may be, but I hope that you're not quite there. And I'm going to guess that none of us have achieved absolute perfection in whatever it is that we do. If you have, congratulations. But you exist somewhere along this continuum.